Hey, beautiful biscuits. Is it? Welcome back to Wholesome Feed Time. Yes, it is. I feel like I've not MIA, but I feel like I haven't really sat down and done a good, decent talking head video in so long because we have been so busy. I know we all say that we've been busy, right? That's like universe, and I say that all the time, but I would say the last 2 to 3 months, maybe last 2 if you really concentrate it down, have been the busiest season of my life ever. Easily, it has been shockingly busy. Things are finally settling down, and I thought I would sit down and do a little updatey video. We downsized 75% to where we are staying now. We lost out on the Michigan house that we wanted. We just sold to somebody else that had a better deal. And so we're kind of in an in-between phase right now where we're still in Washington State. Doesn't make sense to do the cross-country move until we know for sure where we're landing. And so we wound up in a little small 700 square foot apartment. It's like a bedroom and a half. I wouldn't call it a full second bedroom. So we're all just kind of bunking up wherever we can. But downsizing by 75% has been a really big adjustment. You will see I'll post some of the clips from my Patreon cleaning videos on here on another video of how we've been struggling to get the house organized. We put a ton of our things into storage, and then we brought what we thought we really needed for however long we're going to be here. And nothing quite fits because it's all just a little bit too much of stuff. But it, it's what we use all the time, and so we're just going with it. You're gonna laugh at me, biscuits. I insisted on bringing my fridges. So I had a garage fridge and a little garage freezer. Nothing gigantic or fancy or anything, but just things that I really loved keeping my little extra foods in. And the refrigerator here is like an apartment-sized fridge, so it's not a full-sized home fridge. And I said, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be here 3 months. I don't know if I'm going to be here 12 months. I'm bringing my fridges. And I'm so glad I did. I mean, I'm both glad and annoyed because they take up like all of the living room space. But I'm so glad because it's really nice to be able to just buy my stuff in bulk this summer as we aren't having a big garden, but as we shop local farm stands, we can freeze some of the foods that we really love this time of year that you cannot get any other time of year. Berry season is coming upon us, and I love picking berries and having those to toss in muffins and pancakes. So that's probably the funniest thing that I brought with me. Whenever my relatives have come over, they've come and checked it out a couple times, and they've laughed. They're like, oh, well, a lot of refrigerators you got here. And I'm like, technically, it's only 2 refrigerators and a freezer. We'll see if we end up here through the fall, if we can't find a place. And this is a lovely spot. I feel grateful that we had somewhere to land because I was getting nervous about where we were going to go when that other house fell through. But if we're going to be here through the fall, maybe I'll move some stuff around. Maybe I'll do some crazy DIYs. Who knows? One of the big things that I've gotten asked on Instagram is, how are we making it work? How are we downsizing by 75% and making it work? So I would call this tiny house living, but it's not really. I think tiny house living, you have to be under 400 square feet. But I feel like that's per person. So since there's multiples of us, I would say we count as tiny house living. Maybe not quite tiny house, but I think the adjustment period has made it feel like that. So we just brought our regular sized house furniture here. And we are just making that work because it was really comforting for the kids and for me to have our normal sofa, our normal chairs. So it wasn't such a big upheaval because the move was very disruptive. It didn't go the way we thought it was going to. It was very stressful. It took a lot longer hours-wise to finish things. There was a ton of miscommunication going on that made it very, very stressful. So my biggest tip, if you are downsizing by like 50-75%, is you gotta get rid of a lot of stuff. You gotta throw stuff in storage. We did 3 4-yard dumpsters that we had the trash people deliver over the last like 4 months because it was prep to listing and then actually moving. We did 3 4-yard dumpsters over the last 4 months. And we just threw away a ton of stuff. It was things that, was it something broken that I was keeping that we were going to fix? Is it something that was not worth the money to move it across country? That was our question, is what is worth moving across country? And if it's not, then no doodles. Anything that I couldn't sell on Facebook Marketplace that was too much of an inconvenience, it went. A ton of just superfluous things, we just got rid of it. I was very merciless, and I feel a little sad about it, but I was very merciless in asking myself, you know, do I want this to be a $2,000 or $3,000 move, or do I want this to be a $15,000 move where you have to get like professional movers and trucks to move everything? We still wound up with probably more stuff than we should have, but I was holding out hope we were going to close on the Michigan house up until really like the last week before moving. So I was keeping some things that I wanted for that place, but so probably we're going to have like a dump run, not a dumpster, but like a dump run, a run to the dump of my car full of stuff when we go through storage. It's just been tricky. And because we aren't sure what we're doing for the next year, I would say, we're keeping some stuff in storage in case we decide to stay in the area for another year. And then we'll just move our things in there. And it's a small move because we'd stay in the general area. You know, just like haul a U-Haul ourselves. But that's my biggest piece of advice, is get rid of so much more than you think. Stuff that you think, oh, I love this stuff. Get rid of it. Truly. Like, really ask yourself, how much does this cost to replace? How hard is it to replace? And is it really worth the work you're going to put into moving it somewhere? Understanding that a lot of stuff breaks in a move too. Like, I brought some stuff that I was very attached to that was small things, but they broke in the move. I'm going to have to fix them, or I'm going to have to toss them, and I'm so bummed because they were bubble wrapped and taken care of. But yeah, get rid of so much more than you think. I would say first, do dumpsters. And I would do this well before you're planning to move. Plan multiple dumpsters, go through. I did room by room, and then I piled all of my trash bags in the garage, and then had the dumpster come, and I could just throw everything in an hour, and then they would come get it the next morning. And then I also had a dumpster come for like some big things. I actually had, not everything's gonna fit in a dumpster, so I did bulky pickup as well, because I had a falling apart outdoor table and a mattress that my chickens had ruined because I put it in the garage to go to storage. I love that mattress. It was very comfy, and the chickens got in and just destroyed it. And I was like, you know what? During this move, I could like stress over a cheap mattress, or I can just have it bulky pickup. So the bulky pickup was really helpful because it got rid of things that weren't going to fit in my car and weren't going to fit in the dumpster without it costing a ton more. So those are two really easy ways to just dump your stuff, get rid of your stuff. I had so much more accumulated random garbage than I ever thought. I only lived in that other house for 2 years, right? It was not a long time that we lived there. We had not settled in because pretty much within a month or two of moving into that house, we realized it was not the place that we had wanted, and we were stuck for a little while. So I think I tried to make the best of it, and I probably overbought, not expensive things, but just random stuff to, like, you know, when you're having a hard time and you like therapy shop. I think that's what I was doing, because I just accumulated random stuff. I actually have to do another dumpster haul, and I'll bring you along for this, at my glamping farm that I run. Curiously enough, I've been so busy this year, I haven't been able to open the glamping facilities yet because I maintain them. So I'm hoping into the summer I can. I'm probably going to have to do another one of that because we had a storm come through in the spring, and it just took out a bunch of our glamping tents and things. Ruined some of our glamping furniture, which I'm so bummed because I hand antiqued that around the Pacific Northwest. But that's the problem when you don't live on site. You know, you don't see it, so you come back in a couple days and stuff is just ruined. So I will bring you along for that major clean out. I don't know if I have footage. You know what? I do have footage of one of our clean out days, not our big dumpster days, and I have it on Patreon for my homemaker tier. Yes, okay, I thought I did. In fact, I'm rejiggling Patreon this summer whenever I have the time to do it, because we're going to change out the tiers and make it more streamlined and easy for everybody. I feel like there's been a gluttony of choice on there, and I'm just going to really streamline it and like, what are your interests? This is the experience echelon for you. Come on for a month, for 2, for 3. Really like enjoy and digest all this fun back catalog, all the new content. Participate in the quizzes, participate in the votes and the photo shoots, and just enjoy that experience, niched down to like what are you interested in on there, because we talk about such a wide variety of self-care that not every topic is what everyone's interested in. But so yes, if you want some more of the cleaning videos, I have it on Patreon. I'm posting it all month this month on there. I wrote down questions for myself to answer. These weren't questions you said in. This was just like, oh, what should I talk about? Is it worth it to downsize? So I'm going to give you a nuanced, which the internet hates, answer. Part of why I was okay with coming to the 700 square foot apartment is that a lot of the houses we were looking at in Michigan were 800 to like 1100 square feet. They were small, and they felt small, and you could tell. And I really wondered, the last house we were in was my dream house, physically, of a house. It was 2,800 square feet. It had room for my office and all the kids and my room and a lovely living room. It was fantastic. I love that house, and I genuinely miss the house, not the town or the location, because it really, really did not work for me stress-wise. Because it matters where you are. It matters what your environment is, right? Especially if you are sensitive to those kind of things. And so I thought, well, we're going to move into here, and when we were deciding to come here, I thought, oh, it'll be for like 2, maybe 3 months tops, and we'll find something. And we'll test out whether I was really being optimistic over downsizing, or whether we do need like at least 1,500 square feet, you know, something. Because we work from home, we homeschool from home, we live at home, you know, we have our little homesteading adventures that we do. It's a lot to fit into a tight space, and it's different when you work outside the home, or you don't have a bunch of really busy, outdoorsy, crafting kids that need crafting areas and all that. So I'm glad we're doing this experiment, because it's been a big adjustment for me, and for the kids. I think, quite honestly, it's been more of an adjustment for the kids. My little 3-year-old is having the hardest time. She keeps running into things because she's not used to such narrow little corridors and stuff. She's really struggling with the size of it, which I would have never thought. A 3-year-old, I was like, this is the perfect size. It's like a dollhouse. It's the perfect size for you. She is struggling with how small it is. Way more than I thought she would. I'm legitimately surprised by that. Truly. It's like, oh, I didn't expect that. So I'm surprised. But I think it's absolutely worth it to downsize if your goal is less stress from having to clean spaces, from having to pay all the bills for heating and cooling and water use and all that. I think it's absolutely worth it to really simplify your time so that you can spend more time with your family, gardening, with your pets. I think that can be really good. I think I prefer, if I'm going to be totally honest, and this is going to make people grumpy. This makes my sister grumpy when I tell her. I think I prefer living in a bigger space. And I know people make fun of Americans that, you know, we live in these giant McMansions, all of us. We don't. And we expect all this huge space, but there is something nice. I'm like clinically claustrophobic, right? I have to be medicated in certain situations because I cannot function in small spaces. For me, I find it's really therapeutic to have large open spaces. It makes me more calm and relaxed. Obviously, depending on the setting. Clearly, the last house did not. That's why we moved. So is it worth it? I think it is, to lower stress. I really do. I think sometimes we are so in the pursuit of what we think we should want or think we should have, or just going more and more and more, that downsizing, I think, can be really powerful for our psyches. So I think so. I think downsizing is totally worth it. I'm actually really enjoying the very small yard maintenance. This is a condo, right? Like, it has a back patio I have to sweep. But, and I'll give you a little tour of spaces as I do them. It's really nice to not, like, be owned by your house. Like, right, there's not huge things I have to do. There's some projects I need to do around the place at some point this summer once we settle in. we've barely been here any amount of time, so I'm going to give us some time on that. It's really nice to not be owned by a property, but to instead just be staying there and enjoying it and not have all these commitments you have to do. I think that can be really nice. Downside is I really don't like trying to I think you have to adjust your life when you downsize, and your expectations and how you shop and how you do things. And I'll be totally honest and say I don't like that. I haven't done it yet. I brought like all of our pantry items and stuff, and there is no pantry. There are no extra cabinets here for a pantry. So you really have to adjust your expectations, and not just expectations, you have to adjust how you live day to day to downsize. And I haven't done that yet. And so I don't know how I'm going to feel once I actually do that. There's still stuff I have to sort through and figure out. So I think that's harder. That's not talked about as much, is really changing your actual day-to-day lifestyle. Like I like to buy flour in bulk because I bake everything from scratch, right? And there's nowhere for me to put my 25-pound bag of flour. You know, I'm like, there's just nowhere for it. So I think if you're a big homemaker, there's like a minimum square footage, and I'm not sure this place meets it for us because we are a family. If it was just me, then yeah, absolutely, tons of space. Yeah. So that's my very honest assessment of downsizing. I know people, especially millennials, love to romanticize downsizing to a tiny house. It's like 200-300 square feet. And I think it's harder than we are led to believe. So I'm glad I'm doing this time here to figure out if we really do want to commit to like a 800 square foot house, because I gotta say it's small. It would be different if I had a shed, if I had like a yard with a shed, right? But that's, again, more square footage, right? I think it's harder to adjust to your lifestyle than getting rid of your things. That's not easy either, but it's harder to do that. So really think about day to day, what do you like about having a home and a space? And is it something that a tiny house would work for, or a small living situation would work for? Because I did not ask myself that first, and I should have. Okay, biscuits. Oh my, I'm sorry this was so long, but this was a topic that I have gotten asked on Instagram, and so I kind of made up my own questions because I was like, I don't want to answer those direct questions because some of them are too personal. But I thought I'll answer this because it was a big downsize. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks for coming along, coming back to the Wholesome Feed. Hi. I would love if you shared with at least one person you know some of my videos. I love having new people come on and join the Wholesome Feed. It's fun to meet new people. I mean, meet new people, but like meet new people digitally, you know. I think that is so delightful and lovely. And I would love to hear from some of your friends that would like to be on here for the Wholesome Feed. I'll see you in the next video.